Should Bowser's Fury really be the future of 3D Mario? By Aurum Alex. Now, granted, this video is a year old, but I still think it's not so old that his opinions aren't relevant as of today. So, is he so right for this, or is he so wrong for this? Because if you ask me, I think Bowser's Fury was definitely an interesting step forward for 3D Mario, and if they were to make more games of this ilk and style, I would be okay with that. If they want to evolve it further, then by all means, but if it was just this and more of this, I'm okay with that too. As all of you guys obviously agree, yes, you obviously agree. So, he barely has fewer subs than he, does he? Oh, fuck, so what, we're punching down? Oh, gamers, that means we have to be nice. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, I was getting too comfortable ragging on big YouTubers, so I mean, I could be mean, but... Oh, let's start.
Feels like the perfect evolution to the Super Mario 3D World format.
Perhaps Bowser's Fury was made as a test.
It's easy to see how this odd side story could be Nintendo toying with new ideas.
It almost feels like a proof of concept test to do to Mario what Breath of the Wild did to Zelda.
To a blueprint for the
Must be a bold spot is showing. Hang on, no, it's not. Is it? Is it? No, it's not. You fucking mods. Who said that? Who said that? Unbelievable. You should be ashamed, Spongy.
3D Mario.
Proof of concept idea for like the future of 3D Mario.
This is very much the future of the Mario franchise.
And what it may mean for the future of Mario.
It's probably just a glimpse at what the future will bring for 3D Mario games.
It could be a tease of what's in store for Mario's future. Or it could be the future of 3D Mario games.
I really hope Nintendo uses this.
I mean, I get it. A lot of people have been saying it, brother. Come on. Hey, must you dropped your gay card? I haven't heard the gay card one in ages. Holy shit. You know what? You know, fair. I haven't heard that one in a long time. That was a secondary school classic, you know? And then they'd look down and be like, haha, you're gay. It's like, oh, to be 12 again. That was brilliant.
As a blueprint for future Mario franchise.
Clearly, they're planting the seeds for something in the future, right?
As a blueprint for future Nintendo.
Arlo mentioned, let's go! I can put Arlo in the thumbnail now and clickbait people. Thank you, Arlo.
Nintendo may be giving us a glimpse.
Kevin, put Arlo in the thumbnail.
The future of Mario.
Put Donkey in the thumbnail as well. I heard Donkey. Okay, are we ready? Oh, sorry, I forgot, guys. It's a video essay, so he's got to do the pretentious thing of waiting a bit before opening up the video. Am I right, Mr. Video Essay Man? I'm giving you shit. But let's start. Let's finally start, shall we?
Since its release, general consensus seems to be that whenever and whatever the next 3D Mario game is, Bowser's Fury almost definitely provides the blueprint for that game. There's a certain kind of sense to this. Super Mario Odyssey came out in 2017, 4 years before Bowser's Fury. It seemed inevitable at the time that a new 3D Mario game was going to come out relatively soon. And since Bowser's Fury was a bite-sized expansion, how could it not provide a taste of what's to come? Of course, there are a number of problems with this shared assumption. For one, what the heck does it mean for Bowser's Fury to be the future of 3D Mario? And also, since the question of what seems to be a certainty in this case, it's surprising the more important question never seems to be asked. Should Bowser's Fury be the future of 3D Mario? So, considering it's 2024, and we're quickly approaching 8 years since the last full 3D Mario experience, the longest period between 3D Mario games ever, I thought it was high time this discussion was reopened. And
I'll wait for, you know, I'm sure you're going to give us some takes, but I got a dunk on a chud in my live chat. Give me a second. Wasn't Bowser's Fury a side game? It's same as saying all the mini games are the main dish in New Super 64 DS. If you're comparing the impact of Bowser's Fury to the mini games in 64 DS, you're utterly insane. Default profile picture, classic, nonsense take from a default Dan. Expected, very much expected. Continue, Aurum Alex.
Maybe we can discern what exactly it is about Bowser's Fury that has people so entranced. Bowser's Fury is an easily likable game.
Very much so.
Just the opening moments, the game brims with personality. Mario is clearly over the whole thing before it even begins.
True. I love how sassy Mario is in this. I think that's the thing that really went. Look at him. He's like, hey, motherfucker, why should I help you? Huh? Why should I help you? And even in the end, when you finally like save Bowser from the Fury, he's still just like, oh, get out of here, nerd. I love it. It's so it's like the one instance in like a mainline Mario where he has like a lot of, like a bit of personality, and I'm like, you know what? I fuck with this. He gets a lot of personality in the side games, but never in mainline games. I'm just like, you know what? I fuck with this.
Mario is clearly over the whole thing before it even
sassy.
begins, consistently characterized with shrugs and tiresome glances. Lake Lapcat is a wonderful zone, teal blue skies and clear water expanding in every direction. The area, as the name suggests, is cat-themed to a comical degree. Pretty much everything, from the enemies to the geography, has been covered in a coat of fur and slapped on a tail. The names of the levels are often titled after cat-related activities and puns. The cheerful energy of Lake Lapcat also serves to juxtapose the titular Bowser's Fury more effectively. Opposite the sandy white shores, the black goop at the center of the lake slowly billows over time until it explodes, blanketing the entire area in a torrential storm in mere seconds. It's an effective transition. The game also does a good job juxtaposing the size of the land. While most of the game sees you jumping against the typical assortment of platforms, the Fury Bowser fights represent Lake Lapcat in miniature, having you hop over the levels as you conduct the battle. Afterwards, Bowser Jr. congratulates you for beating up his dad, tempering his enthusiasm with the fact that his dad is supposed to be too awesome to be beaten. These aspects of Bowser's Fury are instantly endearing, and it's no wonder considering this why so many seem certain of the game's continued legacy in the series' development. Having said that, the question of should Bowser's Fury represent the future of 3D Mario is difficult to answer, because I'm not quite sure what Bowser's Fury is bringing to the table that's much different from a typical 3D Mario.
I think if there's one thing I really liked is that it's just one cohesive world that you can just go at your own pace. Like, it has that, I'm going to invoke the game's name again, gamers. I'm going to invoke the game's name. It has that Breath of the Wild sort of like appeal to me in that you can just go. You just go. It's like, oh, you see that? You can just randomly say, oh, you see that cool thing there? Go. Just explore it. There'll be something there. And hey, it could be cool. And it's like, oh, you go there. And oh, shit, that was cool. Just go, man. Hell yeah. So that's what it brought to the table, if you ask me. And if they were to do more of just that, I'd be extremely happy, honestly. I like just being able to just go. And also, I think it was quite cathartic in the fact that like it kind of structured with some of the sensibilities of a normal Mario game, in that there's like a power-up bank and stuff, you know what I mean? So you have like traditional 3D Mario like platforming. Like you have the Mario World style of like, you know, item banks and what have you. Like you have that sort of thing from the other Mario games with like the openness of like a 3D Mario, like your Odysseys and stuff, you know. So I quite like that. I really like the whole world was connected and stuff. You could be in one clean sequence. Yes, that's what I liked about it. So if the next game was to do this but like bigger, I think that could work. I think that could definitely be the future of 3D Mario. I like that. Even if some are a bit tired of open world games, I've actually got the next 3D Mario going in the direction. And I like Bowser's Fury. That the direction Bowser's Fury went, with a bunch of linear levels in one big map. Yes! Okay, listen. If Mr. Game Design Andy, right? If Mr. SNES BC2 still sucks, Musty, because it's a game design. There's no... If he agrees with me, then my opinion must be correct.
3D Mario games tend to have a similar structure. In its most general form, the games usually boil down to unlocking a series of hubs, each with their own collection of levels, which you're free to do in any order until you reach the star requirement to progress to the next hub of levels. The similarities between games became even more evident when comparing Galaxy 2's and Odyssey's post-games to one another, which are almost identical. A special world filled with mostly remixed levels, give or take a Mushroom Kingdom, new collectibles that appear in older levels as an excuse to go back and re-explore, followed by one final post-game challenge. Bowser's Fury largely adheres to the established formula, with each of the Gigabells acting as a hub for a series of levels. In that sense, they feel most similar to the domes from Galaxy 1. Yet despite this similarity, the game Bowser's Fury feels most like is Mario 64, and not in a particularly good way. Many of the levels in Bowser's Fury are designed as linear, often vertical towers, where the challenge is to climb to the summit. However, because these levels contain multiple shines, it often means repeating many sections of platforming that you've already done, just to get back to the actually relevant portion of the level. This is an irritating commonality featured in many of Mario 64's levels, like Whomp's Fortress, Cool Mountain, Tall Mountain, Tiny Huge Island, Tick-Tock Clock, and Rainbow Ride. And while
It's been a while since I played 3D... Sorry, I played Bowser's Fury, so I don't remember that at the time particularly bothering me too much. Like, yeah, I would say they usually remix them well enough each time. At least that's how I felt about it, you know? That's how I felt. So while you technically might be right, it didn't, because I can't say for sure whether you're right or wrong because I haven't played Bowser's Fury in a while, but I don't remember it bothering me at the time. I will say that. I don't remember it bothering me at that time. But fair, I suppose.
While the levels don't take long to traverse, the
Even-
problem is
even
even more
admits it.
noticeable in Bowser's Fury, exacerbated by the lack of variety in mission objectives. You can expect pretty much the same things in each of the levels, like collecting blue coins or collecting 5 cat shines, or defeating a Shadow Mario figure. The bottom line is that a good portion of the levels in Bowser's Fury really don't feel designed to have multiple objectives within them, leading to some awkward shines, where the game gives you a propeller to fly through the level, only to make you backtrack through the entire thing again with a key in tow. However, the criticism...
I think that's fine game design, right? Like, you traverse an area, then you have to grab an object, then traverse back, but now you don't have, like, the same movement opportunities you did before. I think that's decent design, either way. Considering the type of missions that you only had to revisit, it felt a bit unjustified with the key and cage missions. Again, I don't really remember them being too... I'll take your word for it. I don't remember them being too bad, though. I would actually want a Bowser's Fury too, since Bowser's Fury proved the power-ups from 2D Mario can work in a collectathon. Yes, I actually really like that. I hope they keep something like this. I don't know if they will, but I hope so. With my original playthrough, I can't say repeating visits bothered me at all. None of the areas felt too repetitive because of the remade challenges each time. Yeah, that's good to hear then. It's probably a cold take, but I don't think Bowser waking up and causing havoc could work in a bigger game. Well, when we say we want more Bowser's Fury, I don't think we want, like, specifically Bowser's Fury 2. Does that make sense? Like, the ideas of Bowser's Fury is what I want, but if there was, like, a different thing, a different cohesive threat that you had to deal with each time, that could be interesting. Maybe? I don't know. I don't necessarily want, like, Bowser to be, like, the big bad that spawns after a while. Although I did like that aspect of Bowser's Fury, that, like, after a set amount of time, you kind of had to deal with Bowser fucking up the place. I just like the openness of the world was just really, really fun too. So if they kept that aspect, that'd be fine, you know?
of linear levels being treated more like sandboxes was ultimately filtered through another enduring criticism of 3D Mario, the boot-out system. Every time you collect a star or shine in a level, you're kicked out to the central hub of the game and forced to re-enter to begin the next objective.
If you guys want to know, when I was replaying Galaxy for that tier list we did the other day, was it this week? I literally just every time I got to the star, I manually like exited the level because it was quicker than getting the star, doing the bum bum ba da ba ba, and then like flying back ba da 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 da. I just backed out every time because yeah, this shit was ass, bro. At least when you're replaying a game, it's a little annoying.
Context-specific missions, the logic was that if we could simply continue playing the levels, we would be able to collect more stars in one go, mitigating some of the more annoying backtracking.
Am I whack and cringe for never disliked being booted out? I don't think it's particularly that bad. I actually don't disagree either. I don't think getting booted out is particularly bad. It does make like but when you play a game where you don't, going back to a game where you do just feels a bit like, it feels like a bit of a pain point. Does that make sense? That's what it is. So while I don't think it's the worst thing, like when I replay Mario Galaxy, like if I was to replay Mario Galaxy from scratch, let's say a couple years from now, it'll be a couple years before I want to play it again. If it's a couple years from now, I don't think it's going to bother me because I still want the experience of playing the game. It's going to be so much fun that I don't mind it. But yeah, when you play a game where you don't get booted out, going back to where it is can be a bit of a pain point for some. That's probably what it is. So that's why it probably gets a bad rap now, you know?
This problem reached its tedious apex in Galaxy 2's green stars, where it often felt like it took almost as long to collect the green stars as it did to exit and re-enter a stage. As it turns out, Bowser's Fury does indeed have an answer to the boot-out system, and it's truly bizarre. In Bowser's Fury, once you complete an objective, in order to start the next one in that stage, you have to physically boot yourself out of the stage and then re-enter. But it's not enough to just go to any patch of ocean outside the zone. In order to load up the next shine, you need to travel to another named area entirely, which usually ends up being the hub next to the level. In other words, Bowser's Fury, for the first time in series history, changed the boot-out system from automatic to manual. This is an extremely...
Was it like that? Really? Uh-huh.
A strange choice, one that somehow feels even more archaic than Mario 64, a game which came out 23 years ago from the release of Bowser's Fury. And while there are several cases where stages will change fairly dramatically between objectives, this new and impaired boot-out system simply leads further credence to the idea that these levels were really not considered with multiple shines in mind. Surely there's a better...
Well, This is weird. This is like new information to me, because if it does turn out in order to go to the like stay in the same area to get another shine, it means you have to leave the area. I actually didn't know this, because every time I'd get a shine, I just like look for a different area, you know. And I didn't particularly. Am I an idiot? I didn't notice it when I was going for 100% neither. Am I dumb? Am I dumb? Like, seriously? I feel like I would have noticed this when I was playing. I wouldn't say it's a weird take. If it is something that does happen, yeah, that is annoying. Like, in an objective sense, that is very much annoying. But every time I got a like cat shine, I just went somewhere else. I was like, yo, bless you, let's go, let's ride into the dawn, you know? So like I can't say it ever bothered me personally, but if that is the case, yeah, it's definitely annoying. But I would like to imagine if they kept this sort of design, they would fix that, you know? It'd fix that. That's what I would say.
The way to do this. To be fair, this problem is alleviated in the post-game, where simply fast traveling to the entrance of the level will reset it.
Oh, okay, then that, I think that's fair then, right? Because if you're playing during the standard, that's probably why I didn't. Well, that explains it, doesn't it? Because like when I wanted to revisit areas a lot, I did it in the post game, and if I was doing it in the post game, I was probably fast traveling sometimes, right? Especially for like those stuff on opposite ends of the map. So if it, I don't know, brother, I don't know. In principle, I get it. It is annoying. Nitpick though. I think I would now reduce this to, instead of genuine valid problems, to nitpick. I think can I do that? Is that fair? Can I do that? Can I do that? I'll lower it to nitpick. Not non-issue, but I'd lower it to nitpick. I would say so. I think it's an oversight that if they do continue with this design, they'll definitely fix 100%. It's all but confirmed the next 3D Mario will go full Odyssey and not have weird in between Bowser that Fury has. I think the only reason it does that is because it uses 3D Odyssey engine. Fair, I suppose. I don't know. It's a shame. I like Bowser being furious at me.
It's not the only.
I like going Super Saiyan.
Fury. Probably the most well-documented criticism of the game is Bowser himself.
Why is
Every
that?
few minutes or so, Bowser will pop out of the ocean and begin a rampage to stop.
That was one of the coolest things. Like, admittedly, maybe in the post game, does Bowser go furious in the post game? I can maybe imagine it in the post game getting annoying when you just want to get a star. But yeah, when I'm traveling around the world, I'm like, yeah. I love it. This is one of the things I absolutely adored. That like at any point Bowser can. It's like I compare it to like the Blood Moon in Breath of the Wild. You know, that like you will just be traveling and then all of a sudden, oh, all the enemies are back. Ha 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 ha. It's like, oh shit, here we go again. You know, I absolutely love this. That like it goes from you exploring to you being on the defensive on a dime. I absolutely adore that. I think it's one of the coolest designs ever.
You need to collect any shine to force him back into the water, at least until you have enough shines to fight him directly. Additionally, there are also Fury blocks, which can only be destroyed by Bowser in this state and generally lead to a shine. None of what I've just said is a problem. What is a problem is how many Fury blocks there are. Every stage has a set, on top of some that exist in the hub areas. Moreover, in the post-game, an island with 5 cat shines appears whenever Bowser is activated, giving yet another reason why you'd want him active. Remember though, you can only collect 1 shine before Bowser goes back into the ocean. Bowser's Fury is not...
I would say, yeah, again, this is another one where in principle it's annoying, but by the time you've finished exploring the area and getting all the shines, because like the Fury state, like it has like it's very clear when Bowser's about to get furious, you know, like it slowly transitions from day to night, and Bowser, you can see the spinning Bowser like getting more. So you're like, oh, okay, I want to explore this area, I'm going to get this shine, I'm going to get this shine. And then, oh, Bowser's spinning in the middle, okay, I want to get ready at this Fury block, and then, you know, that's how I kind of did it. So I'm just like, it's another one of those where, again, in principle, I could see it being annoying. Let's say, for example, you saved all of your cat shines, the ones you needed, as all of the Fury blocks. Yeah, obviously, you have to wait for, what, like 7 Furies in a row to like fit 100% of the game? Yeah, that's just fucking annoying. I just can't imagine it happening to too many people. Well, again, a problem in principle, I just can't imagine that happening to too many people. And I imagine it's an oversight that if they continue with this sort of design, they fix. I just can't. Like, I just can't see that being that big of a flaw, brother. I'm gonna be honest. You're technically correct, but subjectively incorrect. Let's put it that way. I was talking about the boot system. I love Bowser's Fury here. He's great. He's like canon Giga Bowser, the coolest, scariest thing he's been in years. Yes, he's so good. I'm glad you agree, Rico Lee. I'm glad you're on the same opinion as me. Therefore, your opinion is good.
not a long game. On my most recent playthrough, it took a little over 4 hours to 100%.
Obama!
Bowser only comes out so many times during
CJ Adams super
Thank you,
chatted
CJ.
£1.49. I think the way the boot out was designed was intended so that you get more cat shines in other areas for variety's sake.
I would say so too. And I think it's something that, as I've said before, I can understand why it bothers people, but I don't know, brother. This is you right now. And there are no straws to grasp, but there are no straws to grasp, brother. That's you right now, Aurum Alex. The furry block shines still aren't fun when you're doing them optimally. Similarly with the Golden Island shines, what's actually fun? Where's the actual fun in luring and waiting? No, again, you're completely right. I can't say it really affected my enjoyment too much because I was like generally in the area getting other shines, and then when I noticed Bowser was spinning, then I'd go to the Fury blocks. Again, if they were to continue this design in the future, I'm almost certain they would iron that out. You know, I'm almost certain.
time it takes to beat the game. As a consequence, what should be a fun interruption too easily feels like a chore, where I need to wait for Bowser to awaken and plan what I'm going to do with him for the next few awakenings. And if I don't plan properly, it simply means wasted time, and more cycles of Bowser that I have to sit through. This doesn't feel in the spirit of what Fury Bowser ought to be. He should be a thing of fear, not a predictable nuisance on my carefully laid out timetable. Hopefully, after saying all of this, my
and I think he did a good job of that in the regular game, maybe the post game when you're trying to get the rewards, I suppose. Yeah, it could have been better in that regard. I somewhat agree. My only critique is that the game doesn't communicate well that you need to leave the island fully to sort of reboot the next mission. Yeah, again, this is one of those. Again, it's one of the things that I agree can be ironed out. The amiibo makes that a lot easier. A bit of a shame that's locked behind the amiibo, right?
Conclusion is a little more clear. When people talk about Bowser's Fury being the future of 3D Mario, what are people actually talking about? Bowser's Fury isn't really doing anything different. As I've shown, the game bears a striking resemblance in both form and structure to its predecessors, and it plays out in very similar ways too. If anything, Galaxy offered players more freedom than Bowser's Fury ever did.
Really?
Due to the way progression was handled in Galaxy, it's entirely possible to just skip entire swaths of galaxies on your way to the 60 stars needed to reach Bowser. And that's not really mentioning the fact that both the engine room and garden are framed within the game as optional. You only need to collect the first 4 grand stars. And while, of course, Super Mario Galaxy is a much more expansive game than Bowser's Fury, the freedom offered by Galaxy demonstrates at least that Bowser's Fury is not offering an unparalleled or unprecedented sense of freedom here.
Yeah, not wrong, but what Bowser's Fury is doing is doing it in one cohesive... How are you... I don't think it's the freedom aspect of where you can go that people take umbrage with. It's the fact that you could literally just go anywhere and go. And does he forget just how simply fascinating that is? I think you're looking to... Mr. Alex, you're doing the video essay thing of trying to find analysis when the answer's right in front of you, brother. I just like the fact that I can look at a place while riding my Loch Ness monster and going, to the island, Plessy! And then the music goes, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da. It's like, yeah! See you later, Plessy. I'm doing this mission now. Whereas in Mario Galaxy, I get booted out. I count my star bits. I count my coins. Do you want to save? Yes, I want to save. Da-da-da-da. And then, I decided I want to go back. Like, it's the fact that you can just go. You know, you can just go. And that's the amazing part. Like, you get the same amounts of freedom. You could probably convince me that Bowser's Fury and Galaxy, if we were to like measure freedom, I don't know how you do that, would have the same amounts. But when Bowser's Fury, it feels more like I had the freedom because I could just go, you know? It's the open part of open world, you know? You're missing it. It's right in front of you, Mr. Alex. It's right in front of you, brother.
In other ways, like with the aforementioned boot-out system, Bowser's Fury provides an even more anachronistic vision of 3D Mario. Taken all together, when I look at the game, the only thing that really stands out to me as being particularly new is that it is the first 3D Mario game where you can travel between the levels seamlessly.
Yes!
And yet this decision has clearly come with some consequences. The boot-out system in Bowser's Fury can be traced quite directly from the decision to make Lake Lapcat one large zone. If the goal was to provide a seamless experience, forcibly booting out the player to the entrance of a level after every shine collected would be jarring, completely contrary contrary to the stated goal. It's an intrusion on my decision-making. Perhaps I wanted to jump off a high ledge after collecting the shine and move elsewhere, but if the game booted me out itself, such an option would be impossible. I would be starting from ground zero, literally. In this way, the decision to change the boot-out system to manual makes a great deal of sense for a game ostensibly offering more freedom. However, on a broader level, the game seems ambivalent in actually making use of Lake Lapcat's seamless nature. Bowser's Fury ensures minimal time is spent outside of any one level, using Plessy to bridge the ocean between levels in a matter of seconds. Bowser's Fury makes clear that the main attraction, as it's always been, are the individual levels that populate the world. This is
but like, I think you're discounting the fact that is there probably more they could have done when it came to traversing each world, maybe. But like some of the things you can do are also quite interesting too. I don't think it's as mindless as you're making it seem. I don't think it is. I would say GTA 5, the driving felt a little bit mindless, you know, when I was driving from location to location. As fun as that story and the content was in that game. But like with Plessy, it's like, again, you're showing these like interesting little bits of platforming that you can also do too. So ideally, again, because obviously the premise of your video is, should Bowser's Fury really be the future of 3D Mario? If they were to have like this sort of like world where like you'd have to traverse on some sort of noble steed to get to the next area up ahead, they would make it a bit more interesting, you know?
Sensible decision. Would taking slightly longer to reach the next level really enhance the game in any way? Unlikely. In the end, Bowser's Fury's big step forward doesn't amount to much in the grand scheme of things. But I'm burying the...
I'll let you finish your point, but I think you're just genuinely discounting how cool it is that I get to choose where I'm going. It really is just that simple, isn't it? It really is that simple. Like, honestly.
The lead here. When people say they want Bowser's Fury to represent the future of 3D Mario, what they're talking about isn't what Bowser's Fury actually is in practice, but what its seamlessness suggests. The first truly open-world Mario game.
Yeah.
And that is where I have the biggest objection.
Oh,
honestly,
okay.
The idea alone is deeply unexciting.
Really?
The next step in a major series being an open-world game is hardly a novel or innovative concept at this point. And what has become increasingly clear is that these kinds of games come with a lot of drawbacks. But I think an open-world Mario game might suffer uniquely, in ways specific to the Mario franchise.
Yeah?
On the surface, open-world games are appealing because they promise, well, the world. However, to achieve this effect, it usually ends up requiring a lot of reuse to populate the entire game space with things to do. As such, the criticism a lot of these open-world games face is that they become less interesting the more you explore them. What at first seemed to be an exciting journey of unparalleled scope transforms into a monotonous grind of now mundane tasks over the course of several dozens of hours.
I suppose that can be the case, but like ideally a good open world would give you enough options as you progress where that doesn't end up being the case. Like ideally, as you progress, more will be given to you to do so that it doesn't feel that way. Like, yeah, the initial excitement of an open world is like discovering everything. So once the discovery portion's gone, can you entice the player with more things to do? That's the question you have to ask. And I think if they were to take that direction, I trust that Nintendo will be able to do that, right? I think Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom has such an expansive like system of like fusion and crafting where I imagine, I haven't really finished it, but I imagine once you get to the mid and late game, you can still find inventive ways to do that sort of thing, you know? He's criticizing Breath of the Wild, so I have to agree with him. Do you know what, Brosafina? You're so real for that. You're so real for that. Can we pin that message, please?
Would be wrong to call this laziness. Even games with an inordinate amount of effort put into them, like Tears of the Kingdom or Elden Ring, fail to escape the gravity well of fatigue. It seems much more likely that this reuse is simply an endemic part of what it means to be an open-world game. At this current point in time, it is simply not possible to construct worlds of this caliber that are filled with totally unique and bespoke events around every corner. Acknowledging this point then, is this really enough to caution against an open-world Mario game? Personally, I think it is, but I also think there's a more specific reason within the context of it being a Mario game that makes the idea fairly unappetizing. Mario has already gone through this open-world fatigue criticism, despite not even having an open-world game yet. Super Mario Odyssey prefigures the modern open world in many ways. Many of its kingdoms.
Oh, that's actually true. Oh my god, because a lot of the criticisms of like the Odyssey is that like, oh, it's open world, but like it's sort of like a lot of people like don't like the format of this game. Does that make sense? So you know, actually, I kind of get it. I kind of get where he's coming at with this, because Odyssey's like big like criticism that people say is in fact that it's not as focused as they'd like. It feels like I could just like kick a rock and I get a moon. I'm like, no, I want like a focused platforming challenge to do. So yeah, I suppose I kind of get it, but I would like them to try either. You know, I'd like them to try either. If they want to do a more focused linear Mario game, I'm here for it. If they want to do a Bowser's Fury 2, as in like take the ideas and make something else, I'm also okay with that.
Vaster than any levels seen in a Mario game previously, and even the smaller ones offer a level of choice in how to go about collecting its moons that similarly characterizes the focus on player freedom by many open worlds. Yet in offering this freedom, what ended up being Odyssey's main sticking point? Too many moons. Just way too many moons.
Look, I understand why the statement.
So I think it just depends on what people like. I think it just depends. I think it depends, because that, you know, when like we have the Odyssey versus Galaxy debate, that's like the level 1 debate, right? The level 2 debate is what type of Mario is your Mario? Is Mario linear Mario, peak Mario, or is open world Mario, peak Mario? You know, that's the question you have to ask yourself. To which I would say, while I like the fact that Mario is willing to do a bit of both. That's what I like. That's what I like about Mario. So if the next game veers into the open world one, I'm okay with that. If the next game veers into the linear one, I'm also okay with that. I've played both. I played both Galaxy and Odyssey. And while I would say, if you ask me right now, I'd probably prefer Galaxy a little more. I love them both so much that I'm okay with either direction they go. I'm okay with either direction, I'm going to be honest. So I think this criticism, while valid, I think it's more of a case of when someone says they're not a fan of Odyssey because there's so many moons, for me, I'm asking you, are you sure there's too many moons, or do you just not like this style of gameplay? Is that where you are? Is that the question? Because we need to establish that before you say you don't like Odyssey. That's what I would ask you. Same with Galaxy. Is it like that you like more open world, like faster paced things? Do you know what I mean? Is that what you like? That's the question you have to ask. That's the bigger question we're asking here. Odyssey rewards interacting with stuff in the environment in various ways. It's just a different take. Yeah, exactly. It's a different take. If you like this take, then fine. I'm not really big on open world, but I adored Mario Odyssey, so I have no clue if I like open world Mario or not. Hey, man, maybe you just like it because the Plumber Man. You like the Plumber Man, you know? I don't think it's as simple as which kind do you like, because it's entirely possible for Odyssey to stay with its format and have actual more focus and design with its challenges. You're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm creating a false dichotomy because it's funnier that way, bro. Level Mario means more tier list material, yeah? Is that what you think? I want to make an Odyssey tier list just to piss you off now, Oseen. It's all your fault now. I hate that because people always try and begrudgingly 100% games, so they always complain the increased amount of content. Yeah, exactly. I ever since Odyssey, I'm not gonna lie. Ever since Odyssey, I've ignored all the 100% Andes. You people are do you know how it goes? It goes default Dan profile pics, 100% Andes, then regular gamers. Okay, you guys are worse than the regular gamers. Ever since Odyssey, because I'm just like, the game has all of these moons. They obviously don't intend for you to get every fucking single one of them, okay? If you hate the game because of that, that's you. That's your fault. Your brain doesn't work. Fix your brain. It's your fault, all right? You guys are the worst. You guys are the worst people ever made. Anyway.
This game has too much content might not make any sense. How can a game possibly have too much content anyway? Especially when most of it is optional.
Every kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey is like the Mushroom Kingdom, an overwhelming amount of shitty filler moons and only a
filler moons? I can't believe this.
Structurally, the game is telling you that no matter how much fun you're having, if you grab a single moon after the minimum, you are objectively wasting your time.
Or maybe you're just having so much fun. Who is this idiot? Game Champ? You asked for Game Champ 3000's opinion? Really? Really? You're showing me Game Champ 3000? Who even is Game Champ 3000? He ain't no champ of mine, that's for sure. He ain't the people's champ.
And when it throws moons at you like this, it's difficult to disagree.
Dozens upon dozens upon dozens.
I hate it when video games give me more stuff to do. I hate it.
Value to the game, and indeed, as many have argued, might actually subtract value. It's worth pointing out that this is a valid...
He makes Mega Man content. Hold your fight. Listen, when we go on our Mega Man arc, which we will at some point, I don't have a date on that. I will have a fight. We're beefing. We're beefing, okay?
I seem to like Odyssey more than the average online video essayist, but I would agree that ground-pounding random spots for moons or herding sheep is hardly compelling. There are literally hundreds of moons in the game. It probably wouldn't hurt if the game had a few less. With this in mind, it's difficult to imagine an open-world Mario
Oh, is it
game
she? My bad.
resolving this issue. On the contrary,
She's
based
washed!
on the evidence, it will almost certainly make the problem worse. A game stuffed with even more less interesting stuff to dilute the space between all the more interesting stuff. And that isn't great. The effect seems clear to me. Mario games have always had reuse. As I pointed out in my Galaxy videos, nearly a quarter or more of the game's main stars are comets, remixes of levels you've already played, and that's not counting all the reuse that permeates both games just doing the regular levels. This, however, hasn't stopped me from 100%ing the Galaxy games dozens of times collectively over the years. On the other hand, I've only fully completed Odyssey twice. It's just hard to justify doing something that long and in some instances too boring. I'm
gonna be honest, I'm gonna say it like I say to the other 100% Andes, that's your fault. That's a you issue. That's a you issue, nerd. That's a you issue, okay? That's a you issue. Get out of here. Hey, when I replay Odyssey, I'm gonna get as many moons as I personally want, and I'm gonna enjoy my stay. Boo! Boo! Wrong opinion. Like I said, I do get it. I really know. In all fairness, I do really get it. What I will say is, you know how we say, can't the goats coexist when we argue Galaxy versus Odyssey? Why can't the game design coexist? Imagine if we had a game as open as Bowser's Fury and like Odyssey, but with the level-based focus also of Galaxy gamers, we'd have the best Mario game ever made. Oh my god. Let's have our cake and eat it too.
Aligns Odyssey with other open world games that I have no desire to replace.
If the content is in the game, it's fair to criticize. No, you're right. You're fair in your critique. In the same way, I'm fair in going, ha 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 ha, dumbass! Hey, it's fair. It's fair either way. That's what I'm saying.
Hey. This aligns Odyssey with other open world games that I have no desire to replay. I'm certainly in no rush to complete all the shrines in Tears or Catacombs in Elden Ring, and to be honest, I don't think I ever will. This hints at a more fundamental problem with making an open world Mario. The reason why it's never not fun to recomplete a Galaxy game despite the rampant repetition is because it's incredibly fast-paced, moving from mechanic to mechanic so quickly you barely have time to breathe. In fact, if you could pinpoint one defining aspect of the Mario series as a whole, this frenetic energy is likely to be your best bet. And ironically, what better game could demonstrate this idea than the game Bowser's Fury came packaged with?
I mean, you say that as if that also isn't a very big complaint in Mario as well. Like, I think, well, I don't know if he's going to present it like that, but if anything, that's one of the biggest complaints I hear about, like, Galaxy, if you ask me, is the fact that it doesn't, like, you get this really cool concept for an idea, and then you go, oh, can we have more of that? No, we're moving on. It's like, I really liked using Ice Mario and Cataquax to jump up. No, never seeing that again. Bye, next game. It's like, no, but okay, you know what I mean? So, like, if anything, like, you're like, if anything, I understand that you prefer that sort of frenetic thing, but I would say I like it when I don't. If anything, I can understand why people don't like that too. For me, I'm okay with it. I'm absolutely okay with it. But I'm also okay with Bowser's Fury's one cohesive world. You know, does that make sense? But I'm in the weird position where I like both design philosophies. I just like Mario, man. I just like Mario, bro. You know, I just like this game. I just like Mario, guys. Can we all just like Mario, please?
Super Mario 3D World. 3D World remains a massively underrated title in the Mario franchise.
Oh no. Oh no, gamers. In the Big 25, I'm not going to let you get over that. No, Orem Alex. No. In the large, maybe if it was the Wii U era, yes, it was underrated. In the large 25, no chance, brother. No chance. Big 24, either way, I'd still say that's way too late. Way too late. Way too late. You can't be doing that. Unbelievable. If anything, it's overrated. I wouldn't say that. I would say it's correctly rated in that it is an amazing 3D platformer bundled with one of the greatest 3D platformers of all time. You get 2 cakes for the price of 1, and everyone loves it for that.
Franchise, in that it might just be the best game in the series, though it's never recognized as such. It's crazy just how much stuff is in this game, from the sheer number of levels, to the little nooks and crannies in the overworld, to the mystery boxes and Captain Toad stages, to the themes of the levels themselves. I mean, this game just does not stop. And why should it? It would be worse off if it did. But this hardly applies to just 3D World. Last year, Super Mario Wonder was showered in accolades for exactly this kind of energy. Even the more maligned titles on the margins of the franchise seem to understand this. Color Splash's biggest strength is by far the variety of locales offered by its level-based structure, providing snappy, bite-sized stories that, in the game's best moments, contribute to some larger picture. All of which should serve to show why an open-world Mario game is a strange choice.
It's strange, but I also think it could work. I think you're discounting the idea a bit too much. I think you are. I think you really, really are. Because while I will agree with you that one of Mario's greatest strengths, you could say, is that it's frenetic, like roller coaster game design. They'll show you a concept. Hey, that's great. Next concept, next concept, next concept. I love that about Mario. But I also, there are also times where I fiend for a bit more. You know, like what was it? Like Chompworks Galaxy. I would love it if like the whole like, you know, leading chain chomps like down paths for safety was given more spice. And I was like, oh, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Or the waterfall ice skating in the Hidden Star and Beach Ball. I'd have loved the whole fucking galaxy about that shit. So having a game where you don't have that feeling of, oh, that was cool. Can we do? I guess not then. Is kind of neat, you know? I think while I understand how you've reached this conclusion, I think this is the wrong conclusion to reach. I do think so. I disagree, therefore your opinion is wrong. That's what I'm saying. But no, I think they could easily do both. I think you're really discounting Nintendo. You could really do both. This guy's a Color Splash defender. All right, Morkin, you got 1 minute. You got 1 minute to explain to me why that's a bad thing. If you don't, yeah, I'm tagging you out. I'm tagging you out. Go on. Explain to me why Color Splash bad. You got 1 minute. You got 1 minute to explain. Exactly. 3D and Bowser's Fury are both peak. It's regarded as one of the best Wii U ports for a reason. True. See, listen. I know. I've heard that Color Splash is good. If he's saying he's a Color Splash defender, therefore, I need to know why. I need to know why, gamers. I need to know. And Morkin, I'm putting you under the limelight, brother. You're about to get tagged out, brother. You're about to get tagged out. Come on, explain it. Explain it.
In nature, open world games tend to be
I'll check back in a minute.
Contemplative. And while this works to the benefits,
it's not a bad thing. I was just saying. Yeah, but why were you just saying that, huh? Why were you just saying? The implication is that it was a bit. I don't know, guys. Do we allow it? Do we? I don't know. Backpedaling. The immediate frame one backpedaling. Amazing. I'll let you survive. I'll let you. I'll be nice.
Of games like Tears of the Kingdom, I hesitate to say that such Mario games would benefit in the same way. Indeed, we've already seen how Mario games chafe when being threatened to slow down. In Odyssey, the Jaxies were positioned around the game's largest kingdom, Toast Arena, to dramatically reduce the time it takes to get anywhere. Not that the kingdom was really that big to begin with, in the grand scheme of things. Plessy serves the same function in Bowser's Fury. It's very clear that Mario games are self-conscious about players standing still for too long, and that's
I wouldn't say... Not necessarily. Like, again, I understand that, like, one of the things that open world games have to contend with is traversal. So the question is, did you make that fun or did you not make that fun? In Bowser's Fury, I would say Plessy was definitely a very fun to ride. Not only were the controls kind of like, you know, had a bit of inertia to it, so like it took a bit to master, but there was also enough. Again, you showed like a pretty decently cool set piece where you get to ride on rings, jump on stuff. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think you're underselling. I think you're underselling what they could do. If I think they had enough interesting things going on when you rode with Percy that if they were to continue with this design, they would expand on. I have no doubts that they could expand on it. It's Nintendo we're dealing with. You're underselling Nintendo, Aurum Alex.
Clear that Mario games are self-conscious about players standing still for too long, and that's to their benefit. Why waste time walking between all of the interesting set pieces when you could just do them right now? I'm not trying to say that an open-world Mario game is impossible, or that it couldn't be done well, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't pessimistic about the prospect.
Oh, well, get some more optimism in your life, brother. That's what I've got to tell you, because it's Nintendo. If the design philosophies they've adapted over the years, and I've enjoyed them all, anything to go by, Nintendo could Nintendo take the wheel. Do you know what I mean? Nintendo take the fucking wheel, bro. They have not made a single bad 3D Mario yet. Even Sunshine, for all its flaws, I wouldn't say it's bad. A misstep, but I wouldn't say it's bad. They have not made a single bad 3D Mario. So like, so I'd ask you, where does the pessimism come from? I understand that open world games definitely fall for a lot of traps, but would you say that these are the traps that Nintendo would fall for? Is that what? Because that's what you're telling me. You're telling me that even though open world games have a lot of pitfalls, which I do agree, there's a lot of pitfalls. I think that Bowser's Fury showcased that they did a good enough job circumventing them enough while leaving a few pain points that they could easily iron out with if they were to expand on this type of concept. That's what I'll tell you. So when you say you're pessimistic, where does it come from? It might come from the industry as a whole, but not from Nintendo. Are you joking me? If there's one thing Nintendo's brilliant at, is their fucking games, man. They're insane at this shit. Their legal department's also insane, but for a different reason. But they're insane at this shit, bro. They're like insane. They're insane. They're crazy people over there, man. God
My
damn.
favorite part of Bowser's Fury comes right before beating the final boss. It's a moment completely unlike the rest of the game. Shortly after fighting Bowser again, he cloisters himself underwater, as is typical. But what happens next is anything but. Instead of the happy Lake Lapcat theme resuming, the rain immediately starts up again, and Bowser pops out of the water just as quickly as he's submerged. Suddenly, all of my assumptions were off the table. Why is he here again? Where's the nearest shrine? I didn't plan for this. Bowser had thrown my timetable completely out the window. I scurried over to the nearest shrine I could find, attempting to get my bearings, but to my dismay, Bowser was still on a rampage, and that's when I realized he wasn't going away anymore. As it turns out, Bowser will continue in this stage until you hit 50 shines, and are able to fight him once again in the game's climactic battle. But that ending rush to get to 50 shines is the one time Bowser's Fury feels like something innovative. Instead of a scheduling inconvenience, Bowser is a legitimate obstacle, and that...
Wouldn't you say that's the exact kind of thing that you were looking for? Because when you said that, earlier you said that the thing with open world games is that once you've kind of gone through the earlier exploration phase, it's difficult for them to make the mid-game to late-game interesting because you've already explored a lot of the map, right? Surely this is like an example of them circumventing that boredom. Like, right? Because like when you get to like near the end, which is 50 stars, like, no, fuck you. Get the next 5 stars under the cosh, motherfucker. If anything, that's an example of them like trying to like subvert the normal end game potential malaise, you know? So that's really, really good. I really like that. So if anything, that should make you more excited that could happen. I know he's praising it. What I'm saying is that this should make you... I'm more confused as to where his pessimism comes from, you know?
That obstacle
if you see this, where's the pessimism coming from, you know? I love this shit.
It would be too daunting to try to do an entire proper level under the duress of Bowser's flames, so a better bet would be for me to surf around the area and find any hidden or plessy shines where I could avoid Bowser as much as possible. Here, the open nature of Bowser's Fury was utilized as a tool to overcome an obstacle, rather than a mere aesthetic space separating traditional Mario levels. And it does all this while in an energetic manner completely consistent with what we've come to expect from the Mario series. It's great, but it's also the exception that proves the rule. If an open-world Mario game is to exist, it's going to have to look radically different from Bowser's Fury to be interesting. And that's because, taken as a whole, Bowser's Fury is not nearly as radical a game as it's hyped up to be. It's a game that isn't quite able to embrace an open-world format. If anything, when it goes to such lengths to minimize the time not spent in its linearly designed platforming challenges, it's a game that ultimately spends more time extolling the virtues of the traditional format, rather than...
I just think this general thesis he's going by, which is the traversal is them kind of like rushing you to get to the next area. It's like, I mean, if you want to frame it that way, sure, but I would say it's more, you know, most open world games have a traversal thing. You just got to make sure you make the traversal fun, because that's how open world games work, but...
altering them. Bowser's Fury is a brilliant game in many respects. Despite my emphasis on its shortcomings, things like the manual boot-out system and Bowser's scheduling aren't issues that severely hamper the experience.
Well, that's good to hear.
I suspect they don't hamper the experience because the experience is only 4 hours long. It was a carefully crafted side package that was only ever supposed to be 4 hours long. Expand the scope of the game, however, and make it dozens of hours longer, and those pesky inconveniences will balloon in size and import as well.
That assumes that they won't be able to account for this, to which I would say, I don't know where your pessimism for Nintendo comes from. Maybe I'm too optimistic. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Gamers, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Sir Musty's wrong. Maybe I'm washed. Maybe I'm washed. I don't know. Maybe Orum's right all along. Orum's right. I'm wrong. Everyone's wrong. Why is anyone here? Everyone go to bed. Stream's over.
Should Bowser's Fury represent the future of 3D Mario? I don't think so.
I would be okay with it either way. Thank you for watching. I mean, you definitely put forward some interesting points. I would say I think you undercut just how amazing it is that I can point to a place and go there. Maybe I'm just a very simple man. Maybe I'm just a very simple man, Aurum Alex. But I just like that I can point to a place and I can go there. And if they can give me that sort of Mario game with a bigger scale, that I'm sure Nintendo could very easily pull off, because they just haven't missed. They might have missed the mark a little, but they've never truly blundered when it comes to the 3D department. They haven't, and I don't think they ever will. I'm going to be honest. I just don't think they will. They'll blunder in many other ways, but I don't think they will ever blunder with 3D Mario. Wherever they can't with it, I know I'm going to enjoy it, whether it's more of this or more of anything else, to be honest. And while I understand your grievances with the open world format as a whole, I think you doubting Nintendo's ability to pull it off comes from a weird sense of pessimism. Now, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know. Were you burned by, like, you know, Destiny 2 or, I don't know, like another game franchise, you're taking that trauma, this whole video was a trauma response, gamers. We figured it out. It was a trauma response because he was one of the few people that liked Destiny and it failed him, okay? It failed him and he didn't like it. He was one of the few people that liked World of Warcraft and Blizzard sucked and ruined the game for him. And he's a pessimist forever. That's how it worked, okay? Should we bother 6 up in this joint? Well, I heard that everyone hates it when I do it, so I don't want to do it anymore, guys. I don't want to do it, guys. One person said they hated it, therefore. So, game machine broke. The biggest thing I want from a future games is an actual Bowser's Fury power-up system and infinite storage. What do you mean by that? Power-ups in standard 3D Mario games have always been temporary and situational, so it's super cool to have an access to a plethora of traditional power-ups, especially ones that made platforming easier. Yeah, I agree with that. I like the power-up system, yeah. I like that. It's fun. Also, I like the fact that you can only store a certain amount, by the way, because it made like having to go back and get more quite interesting. I like it. Aurum played Hello Pikmin, now thinks that's all Nintendo could better. True! I'm guessing it means infinite storage for the power-ups, so I think you can only do 5 at once, right? You can only hold 5 of each power-up. I quite like that. I thought it was enough. It was enough where I didn't feel like I was constantly collecting stuff. But it was all right. I liked it. In fact, maybe you could lower it to like 2 of each, you know? Every Mario game should let you play as Cat Peach. This is what the future... Oh, he responded to this one, by the way. What does he say to this one? Yeah, agrees. Surprising the 3D Mario... Oh, true. He agrees, at least. Video Man agrees, therefore. Every Mario game should let you play as Cat Peach. True. This is correct. True. There's a lot more positive aspects to the manual beauty system than you give credit for. When I get to the top of the town Bowser's Fury, not only am I ordered with shine, but I get a gorgeous view and I can look down on everything. There's a great feeling of satisfaction with the obstacles you overcome. Well, this is long. And you can see you get the feeling of wonder you get from looking at everything in the distance. With a manual boot system, I could use the end of the level as a vantage point to look at different areas of the map and choose what I want to do next. I won't read the rest, but hey, I like it. Interesting. Okay, should I? Do you know, I'll finish it. It takes what is normally a segmented process to finish a level, go to overworld, and look at... just for future reference, telomerase. Give me some line breaks, okay? Give me some line breaks, brother. Paragraphs. Come on. It makes it easier to read. Makes it easier. There's so much more natural than what keeps me engrossed in the game mode. It feels less like a hard cut between gameplay and level select, and more of a natural flow between different aspects of gameplay. Another thing it does well is save me from my own completionist nature. While in this video you see having to leave a level, re-enter it to reset is a downside as a tedious way to explore the next area, I see it as a suggestion by the developers. Go elsewhere and try to explore. True! True! Interesting, huh? We said the same thing! You have to make that journey to a new area to reset the journey anyway, so why not do a mission here instead? In most Mario games, I do what I assume you do as well. Go to a world, complete each mission in a row, and then go to the next one. I assume that's how most people play these games. But Bowser's Fury, specifically, tries to steer you away from that by making it easier and more fulfilling to go to a different level to reset than the one you're currently on. And what I found is that there's more fun ways to play. It's more fun way to play anyway. You get the variety that's always tuned somewhat to your preferences based on where you choose where to go, and also fixes the problems of you having to go through the same challenges over and over again without minor tweaks, because in practice, you won't be returned to that level for a while, and by the time you do, you'll be relearning its gimmick and layout a bit. Hey, this is basically how we all play the game, right? In normal automatic boot out system, when you're taken back to the start of the level or hub, you're encouraged to go right back to where you were the last time, as to not leave it unfinished, which leads to large chunks of similar gameplay. In Bowser's Fury, you're encouraged to do the opposite, seek out varieties in which shine you are collecting. Real? Can I get a real and true, please? Thank you so much. That's a really interesting way of looking at it. You're definitely right about playing the stage in sequential order in Mario titles. I definitely require a recalibration to just not go out and back to the same level, but I think it's worth a try. Although I do think the game somewhat undermines this idea after you beat the game initially, because you can just teleport directly to the level's entrance, resetting the process. Well, yeah, I think because in the post-game, if you're playing the game after you've beaten the game, yeah, they just want you to be able to just go and do every level over and over and over. But in the regular game, yeah, they probably want to push this idea of, hey, go somewhere else for a bit. Go somewhere else, you know? So, if anything, that's your fault, Automatic, for not understanding and being wrong. Being wrong and cringe. Go explore somewhere else, okay? Go play, instead of the sandbox, go play on the swings. Then the roller coaster, or the roundabout, then you can go back to the sand pit, okay? It's your fault for not exploring. I see what you're saying with the BR system. It's clearly designed a way to make you rotate between stages and finish, instead of finishing them in a single go. True! True! When I've always heard Bowser's Fury is the future, I never really thought people meant the open world style. Instead, I just assumed the traditional Mario power-ups in a 3D Mario game, which I exclude 3D Land and Wild from, because despite them literally having a third dimension, they're still designed with the same philosophies as 2D Mario. A Mario 64/Sunshine/Odyssey game with iconic power-ups is such an obvious idea that it's somewhat surprising that Bowser's Fury and some limited sections of Galaxy even toy with this idea. I think viewing Bowser's Fury through the lens that may shine the light on why people claim it to be more than just a little side game that it is. It's a video game point I haven't even considered, and it's surprising it took me this long to do as well. True! I'm surprised it took you this long as well, Mr. Alex. David is your real name. As I'll say that a lot of YouTubers I put in the opening montage straight up say Bowser's Fury is the future, exactly because it represents a shift to the open world style. So that's where I really got the impression from. Or maybe you should have read other video essays. I don't know. Maybe you should have watched other video essays instead of just fucking IGN, am I right? You watched too many IGN reviews. That's what you should have done. You watched too many lazy critiques. Lazy. But I understand why you came to that conclusion now. People online. Either way, comments are being nice. I like it. I like your comments. Your comments are very nice. Your comments are very nice to you, okay? Very nice indeed. How did you reply to this one? I'm very skeptical in an open world game. I think there's potential, but I would not be upset if they choose not to go there. I don't know what makes you skeptical. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what makes you skeptical. What's made you skeptical, Mr. Alex? I need to know that. I don't think a default Dan, is he gonna cook gamers? Is it default Dan W or default Dan L? I don't think I agree. All your practical issues of the game can be solved by easy means. Too much filler content. Nintendo overstuffed Odyssey with moons to justify the $60 price tags. This is an unfortunate mistake. Short games can fully justify a price if they're replayable. That being said, when I ask for an open world Mario game, I don't ask for a 100+ hour adventure with plenty of side content to distract from the main content. I ask for a short game with a lot of freedom. And Bowser's Fury, like a Mario game with 300 to 400 cat shines that lasted about 10 hours and about 20 hours. Okay. The manual boot out system. I didn't notice an inconvenience of needing to step away from one island then coming back. However, I didn't mind it because it's clear to me that devs wanted to go to different. Oh, it's pretty much just, you know, telling him basically what we basically said over and over and again, I guess. And then a Fury Bowser ones, he agrees. Yeah. So yeah, overall, I think. Oh, is that Garden? Is that our Garden in the chat? I don't know. Is that them? I actually don't know. I don't know if they got numbers. Bunch of numbers. God, there's so many essays in the video essay. I can't believe this. I think Bowser's Fury just shows Nintendo tackling the 3D Mario in open world problem. It's not that Bowser's Fury is Breath of the Wild and the next 3D Mario game might be TOTK. It's that Bowser's Fury is a link between worlds and the next 3D game might be Breath of the Wild. Oh, ooh. Hey yo, this right in fire Garden. You're supposed to go. Oh, this one. We got the mansplainers in the chat now. We got the mansplainers. Downvote. Actually, not upvote. You're actually so right for that. Am I the only one? Yes, you're the only one. Downvote. Downvote indeed. Is there any more? I don't like the idea of open world Mario either. Downvote Toadsworth. Toadsworth is dead. Change your profile picture. No one likes him. No one likes him. I'm surprised you 100% Odyssey twice, but I haven't done the Shrines of DOT once. True! Oh no, he said he already did. Okay. Just not twice. I feel like people just want more open world games. I don't really agree with that. Yeah, maybe back in like 2015. I feel like this could be me, I don't know if this is just me, but I feel like the open world craze of like the early 2010s, like the 2010s era has definitely kind of died down. I don't think there's this push to I think there's definitely a push to make fucking free-to-play Fortnite competitors, definitely in the 2020s, late 2010s, early 2020s. Not so much just open world for the sake of open world, though. Definitely not, I wouldn't say. Great analysis, but why would you jump scare me with Joseph Anderson's profoundly horrid and Faith Odyssey analysis? No, it was Game Champ. Game Champ was the one that sucked, all right? It was Game Champ. It was all Game Champ's fault. I'll never forget that name. I will pray for that downfall every night. Thank you for making this. I don't know why this game gets glazed so hard. Default Dan L. Classic. The future of 3D Mario. It makes you feel like Batman. It makes you feel like Batman, all right? Definitely. Either way, I'll leave it there. Hang on. Don't know if you'll see this, but I've never seen a video that resonates with my thoughts on a game more than yours. Between this and your Galaxy video, it's nice to see someone go in-depth on Mario games. True. Good job, Alex. Game Champ is actually nice. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll bear that in mind. I'll save the beef for later. By the way, closing thoughts. Good video overall. I really enjoyed the presentation of the video. I thought like your points were very, very well thought out, even though some of them were a bit. But I think overall, I think the essay was far more good than it was bad. I don't know where your pessimism comes from. That's the one thing that confuses me. And good luck to you, fellow 8.54K channel, from one to another. Good luck, my brother. Okay, good luck, my brother. And we'll leave that there. Yes. We'll leave it there, gamers. We'll leave it there.